take the mask off?
No.
We're outside. You're like not gonna get.
It's our company policy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's goofy.
Okay, just for the record, say your first and last name and spell it just so we get it right.
Jason Robo, R-O-B-O.
Okay, Jason. From San Diego?
Well, my dad was stationed here in the Navy.
Okay, cool. So we're obviously here because of the comments that you made last night. Why say such vile and racist comments toward the city council members and Dr. Wooten?
Well, why don't you guys cover, when we screen Pandemic Indoctrination, a banned documentary? Like, why isn't there coverage over that?
Can you answer the question I just asked, though?
Well, so what's the question exactly? Why did I say that?
Why did you say the comments that were really hurtful, racist toward the supervisors and Dr. Wilma Wooten?
Well, I think one of my favorite comedians is Bill Hicks, and he has a bit about marketing where he tells people to kill themselves because they're destroying humanity and they're evil. And that's how I felt in that moment. So I was inspired by that bit to say what I said. And what I said particularly about Wooten, I've said other things about Vargas and her obesity and her hypocrisy for giving $9 million for childhood obesity. That I think that she is not like a good representative for like her ethnicity. And I don't think that she's doing a good service for humanity in general. And if I brought up race, I'm a comedian, and I thought that that was just in the moment, it was something that I said. And I don't think she's a good person. She hasn't responded well to like all the science that other people have brought that's not from the lamestream media.
Why not attack her policies? Why attack, weight or race?
We've always been attacking those policies, and you guys don't even cover it. Like I said, we screened pandemic indoctrination. I've made multiple comments. Other people, we had a doctor do a presentation. Why aren't you covering that?
Our focus today is just on the comments and the response from it. So why last night talk about someone's weight or race or tell someone to kill themselves? Because that can be very hurtful for people.
Well, what's very hurtful is forced vaccinations and adverse reactions. And I think that they're hypocrites if I'm going to be accused of racism when the black community has been the lowest vaccinated because of the Tuskegee experiments and other things. Guatemala had a syphilis experiment as well. It was even worse. And so these kind of things are, I think, relevant historic perspectives that we should contrast to what's happening right now. So they're creating a new form of segregation. And so I would consider them to be a vaxist. And to say that I'm racist, I think, is hypocritical at best.
Are you racist?
No. My last girlfriend that I've had we were together for like 10 years. She's black and Cherokee.
But do you understand the racial undertones of calling someone an Aunt Jemima? That is a very hurtful comment, and I'm guessing your girlfriend would not be okay with that.
Well, she's not my girlfriend now. I've moved.
And your ex-girlfriend. For someone that's been in a relationship with a black woman and you know how deep that cuts for people of color to hear certain things like that, why say it?
See how I want to apply exactly to that. What they're doing is hurtful to a lot of people. And so it's really like I'm at a loss for words when it comes to what's happening in those chambers. And so if I want to lash out at them and make personal attacks because they don't pay attention to us, I think it's, like I said, really sad that you guys are going to focus on racism when there's this forced vaccination program that affects communities of color. And I've actually helped to make a public comment as a satirical racist person to get a statue removed of President McKinley, who killed a bunch of like Filipinos and Latinos and such. And that's the kind of stuff that I've done. And I've also fought against the drug war. And I always talk about how it's a racist thing based on racism towards Latinos. They said that they were super strength bloodthirsty killers. The documentary Grass, Woody Harrelson narrated it. It breaks that all down. And so I talk about all that stuff. And I wear sweatshop free clothing, organic, I'm vegan. I do everything I can to not be an asshole to other people.
Well, last night a lot of people thought you were an asshole.
Yeah, well, and if they're not going to have the decency to try and talk to me and they just want to judge me and not the content of my character, and that's what I'm doing, is I'm attacking the content of someone's character. Their skin color isn't like a dominant factor in any way, shape, or form. I've just brought it up because it is, like, I think, a hypocritical and sad thing that we have a black woman who's a public health officer who is subjecting her own community to something that's a repeat of history.
I know you went back and read some of the headlines and saw some of the comments. What are your
Not
thoughts?
really.
Oh, I thought you said you were going to do that.
No, I didn't.
You
really,
didn't want to read it? Okay.
No, I didn't get around to it.
Well, a lot of people, came to Vargas's defense, and they were really proud of her for stepping up against those hurtful, racist comments. Do you feel like you owe her an apology?
I mean, she spoke out in profanity, so she also lost her temper as well. And I don't have anything to apologize for. If anything, I think that they should apologize to the community that they swear that they represent and say they're so proud to do so, when overwhelmingly we show up and we are fighting against everything that they're doing, and they completely ignore us. They're looking down at their phones the whole time. Like, they owe the community an apology. I don't know any way of apology. If anybody's going to apologize, it should be them.
I'm trying to think if I had any other questions. So tell me a little bit about your background. I was looking online. You are a comedian, correct?
Yes.
And I think at one time you ran for city council yourself, right?
Yeah,
Blue
up
Lake?
in Blue Lake in Northern California.
How did that race go?
It was tough because of pandemic and can't really go door to door. Things were really weird.
So
But I only lost by a few dozen votes, and it went pretty good.
Okay, so I'm curious because, as someone who was seeking to be in a position like those supervisors, you have to make the tough decisions. Everyone's not going to agree with what you say, but if someone spewed hateful, hurtful comments at you and you just had to sit there and take it, how do you think that would make you feel?
That's what I deal with all the time. I do stand-up, so it's part of the whole thing. They're sitting there as public officials, and they don't even pay attention to us. So they're hypocrites, and they should apologize, and they should recant and take back. I think they should resign. And the suicide thing, like I said, was inspired by a comedian, Bill Hicks, and his bit about marketers. And I feel like that they're doing evil, just like he spoke about in that comedy bit.
So I have to ask this. You say it was pure comedy, but do you really want
No, it's
Fletcher...
not pure comedy. It's activist comedy. Look at my shirt. It says art is activism.
Okay, so it's activism comedy. Do you really want Nathan Fletcher to kill himself? Do you really want Vargas to die from clogged arteries?
If their policies have led to the death of other people and they died, it really wouldn't bother me. I don't want anybody to die as a sick kind of perverted thing. I'm not a violent dude. And somebody tried to attack me the other night. The owner of Mia Roma Italian restaurant came out because he said I bumped into his parking structure, and he smashed out my back window and tried to fight me, and he went to jail because I didn't escalate the situation. So I'm not violent, and I'm not racist.
Do you want anyone to kill themselves or die from clogged arteries?
If they're going to continue to harm the community and cause people's death from adverse reaction to forced vaccination, and when they close the beaches, they hurt people's vitamin D and their natural immunity, then I think it would be in some way a poetic kind of justice.
One thing I spoke to Vargas about, she said that the thing that frustrates her is that, these type of comments have gotten worse, and she equates it to President Trump, and she thinks that he emboldened a lot of people to say these mean, vile things. Do you agree with that?
I'm nonpartisan.
Got it. Okay. Jason, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. You need me to reach out for anything?
I got it.
Okay.